Good day, guys. Today's video is about how I lost $20,000 in the bully game. Now, this isn't $20,000 over 1 year. This is $20,000 over the entire time, which is starting from 2013. Now, I obviously bought some very expensive dogs that some people felt shouldn't cost that much, but when you know the bloodlines and what they were valued at that point in time, to me they were quite worth it. But there were other situations that I also went through that I'm going to tell you about to help you avoid some of these same situations, okay? So the first situation was a guy in Florida. He had a red lion dog back when I was into XLs. I just had to have one. I reached out to him through Facebook. We communicated. His English wasn't very good, and I sent him a $500 deposit that he said he never got. So that right there for me was the end of those negotiations, and that was the very first loss that I took. That was right here, my $500 deposit. After that, I got into the bullies, and there was a guy up in Oklahoma. His name was Aaron Vaught. I wrote his name down so that you guys could know to stay away from this guy, okay? He is a known scammer. He asked me a whole bunch of questions. I told him what I was looking for. He said the dog was gonna have to, I was gonna have to pay a $1,000 deposit, and I would have 2 months to pay off the balance. So I was waiting on him, communicating with him, asking him for pictures, videos. He would always say, "Oh, I'm not at my house yet. I'll send them to you when I get back to my house." So I sent him the $1,000. He never contacted back to me until 2 months later. 2 months later, he contacted me asking me for the balance. And I said to him, "Well, you never sent me the pictures of the dogs or anything that I would be getting." So that was a situation there. He never got back to me with the pictures of the dogs, because at that time I still would have been willing to purchase. And so I decided to take that as a loss. So that was my second loss. But don't forget to stay away from this guy, okay? Thirdly, was a dog I had named Chuck Norris. I got him from Illinois, a good kennel, a good guy, Drew Jones on Instagram or Facebook. He was a red bear son, bred to a grand champion Caribou daughter. Beautiful dog. The only reason I consider it a loss was because he died from a heat stroke. I had 2 other dogs at the time. They were in the house. Obviously, the Bahamas sun is pretty hot. He didn't like the gardeners mowing the lawn, and he was out there working himself up. His body temperature got too hot. I guess by the time he went back inside the house, he died, because when I went in there and I found him, he had his mouth was just foaming, but he was stiff, and I paid $4,000 for him. So he died. Then I built a big wooden shelter over the over dog kennels. He also had allergies, by the way, not very bad allergies, with hair thinning, which we're going to talk about in another video. But he had allergies to chicken, probably I think one other meat, to rabbit, and he also had an allergy to 2 or 3 different types of grasses. But the issue only came with me when I fed him dog food with allergies. I mean, chicken. And so the grasses that he was allergic to, we didn't have here in the Bahamas. But his death was still a loss to me, because I really liked him. And he was a great dog with a great temperament. So after that, I got in touch with another guy. Can't remember where he was, but he was the owner of Hedward Swellington. Hedward Swellington was a dog that was I believe some XB blood. I paid $4,000 for that female. She was a blue brindle female that I had that I ended up giving to a friend. She was really big. She still is pretty big to this day. I had plans to breed her with Seymour butts. Did the breeding on her second cycle when she was about 12 months. Didn't take. Did it again when she was 16, 17 months. Oh no, 18 months. And it didn't take again. So I thought I was the problem. I bred her to another dog, naturally this time, because we did AIs the first time. And she would pull away from the dog whilst they were locked. And I guess she just didn't want that experience. So I never got puppies from her. At the time, I had a friend who really wanted her. So I placed her with him. Their dog, his male got out with her by accident at the wrong time. She ended up pregnant. So unbeknownst to me, the entire time the problem was me, but I already gave her to her. And at that time, I was already kind of debating whether or not I should stick with the XLs. So Mama was, the other loss. She was $4,000. Now there was still into the hot sauce because my dog that died, Chuck Norris. Sorry, still into the red lion dogs, but only red bear at the time. There was a guy in Alabama named Matt McDonald from Hurricane Bay Kennels. He still has very good dogs, and they are very massive, and they come in all colors. We did very good business. There were only 3 puppies in the litter. I ended up getting hot sauce. He was a chocolate ghost try. He cost me $6,000, the most expensive dog that I have ever bought. To this day, he is 135 pounds, somewhat lean, sporting about a 27-inch plus head. He was massive. At that time, I got hot sauce trained because he was so big. I wanted to have complete control over him at a later age. I had plans to breed him to Mama at the time, but I had already placed her with my friend. And then for some reason, I just decided to come out of the XLs altogether. So I gave him to my friend that also had Bahama Mama. So that was combined with those 2 dogs alone, that was $10,000 down the drain. So, I mean, in my eyes. But he's a trainer. I know he takes care of the dogs, he feeds them good, he exercises them. So I still don't mind because they're in a good home. But the bigger dogs, I just had to get out of them. And they eat a lot more than the pockets and the standards. Okay? And the last dog that I bought before Nancy and Kobe was Royal Flush. I bought him from a friend of mine, paid $5,000 for him. He had the features like I'd never seen on a dog before in person. He had big bones, a big head, big chest, great conformation. But the problem that he had was he had these crazy allergies. It took me about 6 or 7 months to all different sorts of allergy testing just to find out what he was allergic to. I spent $2,000 that year extra on top of the $5,000 that I had spent on him, just trying to find out what the situation was. So after we got him allergy tested, finding out that he was allergic to like 4 different types of grass, 3 different types of meat, pollen. I mean, it was like he was allergic to, everything. The vet, herself had to, the work that we did just to go through that was just crazy. And it's an experience I don't want anyone to have or to go through, which is why I chose not to breed him. So I pet honed him with a friend of mine because I think it's, just for the code of ethics that I have, dogs that have allergies, I don't think they should be bred. At least allergies like Chuck Norris, where he just broke out into hives, they weren't as bad. But dogs like that were Royal Flush, that were just allergic to almost every single thing. Outdoors, it was like no point in breeding him. And I'm not telling you to throw away your dog if your dog has allergies, but I'm saying you probably won't want to breed a dog that's going to genetically pass on the same thing to puppies, and then even, you know, potentially you pass it on to customers, and then they have to deal with the same expenses and problems that you did, when it could have been completely avoided if you just hadn't bred the dog. And I have another experience, you know, with Danny. Danny, my partner, I bought a dog from Florida as well, a black tri female that had allergies similar to Chuck Norris, but she would just break out into hives. You know, we never got her allergy tested, but we know it was allergies. So we would give her Benadryl and it would go away. And we bred her, you know, not knowing anything about allergies at this time. Now she came along after Chuck, but we didn't know that it would pass on until afterwards, when we had a puppy and that puppy had allergies, the same kind of allergies where he would just break out. So from that experience, I'm telling you not to breed dogs with allergies. If you have to neuter it, spay it, or pet home it, you know, do anything, but just don't make the gene pool worse than it already is in the American Bully breed. We're here to make better dogs, so that's what we're gonna do. But you know, that's my story of how I lost, you know, $20,000 in total. I'm here to give you tips to so that you don't have to go through some of the things that I went through, to help you to avoid them, to having a better experience with other breeders, as well as this breed. So don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, tell me about the dogs that you bought, and share the link as well with your friends and family. And I want to know what you guys went through, so let me know, and I guess I'll see you next time.